to God. But the Bible now says, those that God sent Jesus to redeem them that were under the law, that we, the them is saying the same thing. So those people that have been redeemed, that we might receive the adoption of sons. Redemption, when you narrow it down, it carries the connotation of regeneration. But you know that to be a child that is born, to be a son that is born, is different from being a son that is adopted. You can be a son in virtue of adoption, and you can be someone's son in virtue of biological birth. So sometimes people talk about my adoptive parents, and people talk about my adopted son, my adopted child, my adopted daughter. That is to say, I am not their birth mother, all right, but I'm the adopted mother. Adoption, in context, is one of the ways that people enter into a sonship relationship. This is interesting because Paul is writing to a Gentile church, the church at Rome. The Roman church is a church that lives within the heart of the civilization of that time, and adoption had become mainstreamed in the Roman hierarchy. I don't want to go into all of that because I don't have the time, but adoption is way more a Roman concept that would have been easier to understand for the Roman believers than even for Jewish believers, because it was something that was being practiced at the time by the Roman government. And there were laws and statutes that were put in place in order to guarantee the practice of adoption, that if somebody is adopted, the person is completely now relieved from all of the liabilities that are supposed to be incidental to him on account of his birth circumstances. More like saying, if your parents owed money, and by reason of the agreement, if they are not able to pay and they died, their first son is supposed to take over the liabilities that the man has, that the man owes. But then, before the man died, you were adopted by another family. And after you were adopted, your biological dad died or dies, but then dies without paying that debt that he owed. The Roman law at that time, over 2,000 years ago, already maintained and secured that the child so adopted is completely free and relieved from all of the liabilities that are supposed to be incidental to him on account of who his biological father is. You can no longer go to ask that boy to pay the debt. Why? Because he has been adopted. His realities now must be understood through the prism of the realities of the man that has now adopted him as his son. Do you understand that? And I'm saying that